Okay, so you guys are going to have your homework for lesson 5.1. The instructions for the homework on lesson 5.1 say, find f plus g of x, f minus g of x, f times g of x, f divided by g of x for each f of x and g of x. Indicate any restrictions in the domain. F of x equals 3x squared minus 4, and g of x equals x squared minus 8x plus 4. So when you do this problem, they really should have made it a part A, a part B, a part C, and a part D, because there are 4 parts to each of these problems. So I want you guys to go ahead and do that as you guys are working down through here. The other part of the instructions I want to talk to you about is it says indicate any restrictions in the domain. We are going to work on what restrictions in the domain are as we get to each unit over these special functions. So for now, you guys can essentially just mark that out. I am not worried about you guys doing that at all. Okay? So we're going to go over number 11. You guys are going to do 4 through 10. So the first one here is just f plus g of x. Okay? So if I was doing this, I'm going to label that part A. I need to remember f plus g of x is just f of x plus g of x. Okay, so my f of x for this equation is 3x squared minus 4 plus my g of x, which is x squared minus 8x plus 4. Okay, now, as we've talked about, if you're adding these things together, these parentheses actually mean nothing. So all I'm going to do is just combine my like terms. So I've got a 3x squared and a positive x squared. So that would be a 4x squared. I've got just a negative 8. Okay, so negative 8x, nothing combines with that. I've got a negative 4 and a positive 4 that would combine together, and those actually just end up canceling each other out. So we find that f plus g of x is 4x squared minus 8x. Okay? For part B, we're going to do f minus, I'm going to change colors here just so we can see this a little bit easier. I don't know if I can scroll. Whoa, that went way too far. Okay, so next we have f minus g of x. So that's going to be f of x minus my g of x. So I'll have 3x squared minus 4 minus x squared minus 8x plus 4. So if I'm subtracting, can I just get rid of the parentheses? The answer is no. Remember, we have to distribute that negative. So this becomes a 3x squared minus 4 minus x squared plus 8x minus 4. And again, once I remember to distribute the negative, all I'm doing is combining like terms. So 3x squared and a negative x squared gives me a 2x squared. Okay? Then I'll have a positive 8x this time. And then I've got a negative 4 with another negative 4. So negative 8. So f minus g of x equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 8. So we have done part A. We have done part B. So then next you guys have your part C and your part D. Okay, which part C, if we look back up, is going to be the f times g of x, and then D is f divided by g of x. So for C, we've got fg of x, which is really just our f of x times our g of x. Okay, so my f of x is 3x squared minus 4 times x squared minus 8x plus 4. And honestly, for this problem, this is going to be the most difficult because we're going to have to multiply these together. It's even more than FOIL. We're going to be really just distributing. So I'm going to take my 3x squared times x squared, which is 3x to the 4th. 3x squared times a negative 8x is a negative 24x cubed. 3x squared times a positive 4 gives me a positive 12x squared. Then I've got a negative 4 times x squared, negative 4x squared. A negative 4 times a negative 8x, negative 32x. A negative 4 times a 4 gives me negative 16. Combine my like terms. There's really only two like terms, which would be that positive 12x squared here and that negative 4x squared. So that gives me a positive 8x squared minus 32x minus 16. So we can say that fg of x equals this big old long thing there. Okay? And then the last one actually ends up being a fairly short one, even though it looks like it's going to be the most complex. Our last one is just f divided by g. So f divided by g of x. And that is simply f of x divided by g of x. And don't forget to label this as your part D. Okay, so if I'm doing that, your f of x is going to be 3x squared minus 4, because f of x goes on top. And then my g of x is x squared minus 8x plus 4. Okay, and on these, you're going to want to try and simplify them. But honestly, guys, very rarely will you be able to simplify these. So most of the time on D, there is no simplification that can be done. So that just ends up being our answer. Okay, so you guys have numbers 4 through 10. Okay, you guys will work on those in class. Make sure you make it part A, part B, part C, and part D. You're just finding each of those 4.